Get ready to dive into one of the most fascinating themes in the entire Power Rangers franchise: evil clones. From dark duplicates created through magic, technology, or twisted dimensions, each season has introduced its own evil ranger. In this video, you're going to revisit all these alternate versions, from classic impostors to fully engineered warriors built to replace or destroy their originals. And if you're a true Power Rangers fan, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. The evil clone of the White Ranger appears in Power Rangers Dino Thunder, following the events of Episode 21, when the monster Copy Otter, a creature capable of duplicating anything, is used by Zeltrax to produce a perfect copy of the White Ranger's power. While Trent was dealing with his emotional crisis after discovering that his father was the villainous Mesogog and struggling to understand his role as a Ranger, Zeltrax saw the perfect opportunity to create a warrior completely loyal to evil. Using the remaining energy of the White Dino Gem and Copy Otter's duplication ability, the clone is born. Unlike the real Trent, this clone doesn't inherit feelings, doubts, or conscience. He emerges as a flawless soldier, loyal only to villainy and entirely focused on eliminating the Rangers. From that point on, the clone becomes a constant threat. He creates monsters, confronts the team multiple times, and even commands copied Megazords, always trying to prove he was the superior version. However, his existence carried an unavoidable flaw. The Morphin grid didn't allow two White Rangers to coexist. Little by little, the clone began losing stability, flickering during battles, and losing control of his own powers. Realizing his end was near, he provoked a final confrontation. In Episode 30, he summoned the Rangers to the beach and initiated a Megazord battle, followed by a direct duel against Trent. In the decisive moment, both charge forward with their Drago swords in a final strike. When the energy clears, only Trent is left standing. The weakened clone, accepting his defeat, congratulates Trent before fading away in an explosion of light, ending his existence for good. Among the most iconic clones in the franchise, Tom Oliver takes the idea of facing yourself to the extreme. He appears in episodes 44, 45, and 46 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2, at a time when Tommy was already using his White Ranger powers. Here, Rita and Lord Zed decide to create a threat capable of defeating the Power Rangers once and for all. To do this, they summon the Wizard of Deception, who uses a single strand of Tommy's hair to create a perfect duplicate, but wearing the Green Ranger suit and completely corrupted, without any trace of the kindness or doubt that existed in the original. Because the clone is created from Tommy's actual DNA, he's able to fool the Rangers with ease. Pretending to be following Zordon's orders, Tom assists the Wizard of Deception in sending the entire team into the past, leaving only the real Tommy in the present to face him. The battle between the two Rangers is intense. Identical skills, equal strength, but the clone fights fueled by pure malice. With the Dragon Zord under his command and the Wizard backing him, Tom nearly destroys Angel Grove, while the real Tommy struggles, weakened by the strain of both existing at the same time. Tommy eventually steals the Wizard of Deception's wand, travels to the past, rescues his friends, and returns to defeat the Sorcerer. Once the spell is broken, Tom regains his consciousness. Filled with regret, he cancels the Dragon Zord's attack and chooses to do what the real Tommy would do: help. The two then travel back to the past and fight side by side against the monsters threatening Colonial Angel Grove. But knowing the two of them couldn't coexist in the same timeline, Tom chooses to remain in the past. Without powers and free from evil influence, he decides to live his life doing good, ending his story as the most complex clone in Ranger history. Among the most unexpected battles in Power Rangers Mystic Force, few moments are as shocking as Episode 28, when the heroes are forced to fight evil versions of themselves. The story begins when Hecatoid kidnaps the Rangers and drags them into an isolated dimension, turning everything into a twisted game designed to wipe them out. Cut off from the real world, they soon learn that the enemy has prepared something far worse than ordinary monsters: perfect clones of all 5 Rangers. The evil Mystic Rangers appear nearly identical to the originals, with the only visible difference being the black details around the neck area of their suits. Created to be evenly matched opponents, they mirror every strike, every spell, and every strategy. The fight quickly becomes desperate When the Rangers realize the clones don't just copy their abilities, they anticipate their moves. Everything turns worse when the clones use advanced magic to transform Nick, Xander, and Vita into dice, leaving them unable to fight. Madison tries to hold her ground alone, but the evil blue and pink Rangers merge into a giant monstrous frog that nearly devours her. In the crucial moment, Maddie activates her Legend Warrior mode, breaks free, and destroys the creature with a massive wave of water. Chip does the same, activating his legendary mode and using his Mystic Lion Staff to eliminate the evil red, yellow, and green clones once and for all. With the clones destroyed, Hecatoid loses his advantage. The victory gives the Rangers back control of the battle and allows them to continue the search for Udana, who was being held captive by the villains. Just like that, the Dark Clones vanish as quickly as they appeared, ending one of the most intense fights of the entire season. In Episode 18, the Rangers face one of the most unusual threats of the entire season: evil versions of themselves, created inside an alternate dimension generated by the mutant Turtle Con. It all begins when Wes fails to capture Nadira, leading to a clash between him and Jen over trust. But that conflict quickly becomes irrelevant when TurtleCon attacks the city and uses his device to trap the team inside a parallel reality. Within this distorted dimension, the Rangers are confronted by dark copies of themselves, cold, ruthless, and violent counterparts with a single purpose: destroy the real Time Force Rangers. These evil Time Force Rangers attack without hesitation, studying every move and exploiting every weakness, taking the team down one by one with brutal precision. When both the heroes and their evil counterparts use their vector weapons simultaneously, the resulting impact creates an explosion so powerful that it tears open a dimensional rift, allowing only Jen and Wes to escape back into the real world. Outside, the two must resolve their disagreement to save the team. With Circuit's guidance, they come up with a desperate plan: destroy the dimension from both the inside and outside at the same time. While the trapped Rangers struggle to survive the relentless pursuit of their dark versions, Jen re-enters the dimension to face the evil Pink Ranger. In the decisive moment, Wes fires his shot at the exact second required, allowing Jen to reclaim her weapon and complete the synchronized attack. The dimension collapses, the clones dissolve into energy, and the Rangers finally escape, ending the threat of their corrupted counterparts once and for all. The Shadow Rangers appear just when everything seems to be falling apart for the Wild Force team, introducing an enemy capable of perfectly copying every move the Rangers make. In Episode 35, Onikage returns, kidnaps Princess Shayla, and lures the Rangers into a trap in the desert. In Episode 36, he uses his power to tear the Rangers' shadows away from them and transform those shadows into dark warriors, evil duplicates with the same skills as the originals, but without any moral restraint. The discovery that any damage dealt to the clones is reflected back onto the Rangers themselves turns the battle into a desperate struggle. Every hit they land becomes self-inflicted harm, leaving the team cornered and weakened. Meanwhile, Onikage reveals his true loyalties. He never served Mandalok. He has always served Master Org, who returns to seize full control and destroy his treacherous former generals. With the Rangers overwhelmed by their shadow copies and Master Org closing in on victory, something unexpected happens. Jindrax, enraged by Toxica's death, attempts to challenge Onikage and ends up becoming the key to turning the tide. When the ninja tries to create an evil clone of him, Jindrax uses Toxica's mirror to reflect the attack. Instead of a shadow Jindrax, a shadow Onikage is created. The real Onikage knows that destroying his own shadow means destroying himself, creating the perfect opening for Cole. Using the Falcon Summoner, the Red Ranger destroys the clone, and with it, Onikage himself, causing the Shadow Rangers to vanish instantly. With that, the threat of the shadows comes to an end, restoring control of the fight to the Rangers, even though the war against Master Org is far from over. The evil Overdrive Rangers appear in Operation Overdrive when Quasar decides to challenge the team with a direct and devastating tactic, creating dark clones identical to the Rangers. This happens in episode 26 when Tyzon comes face to face with Quasar, the one responsible for the tragedy that shaped his past. While the Mercury Ranger struggles with painful memories, Quasar takes advantage of the team's emotional distraction to create perfect duplicates, distinguished only by the black necklaces symbolizing their corrupted nature. As soon as they appear, the clones charge at the team, copying every strike and fighting style. Quasar's plan is simple: keep the Rangers occupied while she attempts to eliminate Tyzon for once and for all. The battle spreads across the field, with Mac and the others trying to fend off twisted versions of themselves, while the Mercury Ranger faces Quasar alone. The fight quickly spirals out of control, as each clone is just as strong as its original, making the confrontation tiring and unpredictable. When Tyzon manages to injure Quasar, she decides to retreat to recover, causing the immediate disappearance of the evil Overdrive Rangers. Because these clones were sustained entirely by her power, they simply cease to exist in her absence. Later, in a new battle in episode 28, Tyzon finally defeats Quasar for good. With her destruction, it becomes clear the clones will never return, ending the threat of the evil Overdrive Rangers, shadows created solely to confuse, exhaust, and divide the true heroes.
The Shadow Rangers are one of the most creative clone concepts in Power Rangers Turbo, appearing in Episode 4, when Divatox deploys a plan that hits the Rangers during a moment of complete vulnerability. It all begins when Adam, Tanya, and Kat attempt to morph during an attack, but Shadow Chromite interrupts the process and uses the exact moment of transformation to create dark copies of them. These clones emerge as living silhouettes, infused with stolen Ranger energy, and immediately overpower the trio, capturing them and dragging them to a remote cave. When Tommy and Justin discover what happened, they try to intervene, but Justin is also captured after having his powers drained, giving rise to the Blue Shadow Ranger. Only Tommy manages to escape, forcing him to investigate the true nature of these creatures on his own. He eventually discovers that the Shadow Rangers are made of reflected light, which means they can only exist well exposed to direct illumination. This becomes the key to turning the situation around. Tommy confronts 3 of the clones, Yellow, Green, and Blue, luring each one into dark sections of the cave, making them vanish instantly. He then locates his teammates and defeats the Pink Shadow Ranger by destroying the light sources that sustained it. With the clones eliminated, the Rangers recover their powers and regroup for the final battle against Shadow Chromite. By blocking sunlight using the Turbo Megazord, they cause the monster to collapse into nothing, taking the last of the Shadow Rangers with him. In Episode 10 of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel, we are introduced to the Robo Rangers, one of the most dangerous armies ever created against the heroes. They appear as mechanical copies of multiple captured Power Rangers. Led by Lord Draven, Tyrant of the Antiverse, these clones were mass-produced using technology capable of replicating abilities, suits, and even combat strategies. Draven's mission was simple: break down the barriers between dimensions and use his robotic army to conquer the entire multiverse. Draven allies with Matamodius, who strengthens his plan by creating the Mega Arrows, arrows capable of cracking the dimensional fabric. To power his clone factory, he begins capturing veteran Rangers, including Kat, Rocky, TJ, Gia, Antonio, Trent, and even Tommy Oliver. The standout among the Robo Rangers is Tommy's own clone, created to act as Draven's right hand and fight the real Tommy directly. When the Ninja Steel Rangers discover the threat, they team up with Wes, Coda, and Gemma to track Tommy and infiltrate the Antiverse. There, they find the massive factory and witness Robo Rangers being produced on a large scale. The battle becomes even more intense when the real Tommy arrives, fighting his robotic clone in a multi-form duel: Zeo, Dino Thunder, and Mighty Morphin. With the factory destroyed and the captured Rangers freed, the heroes gather to face Draven's final onslaught, the complete robotic army. The combined strength of Ninja and Legendary Rangers secures victory. When Draven attempts to complete his plan with the 3rd Mega Arrow, Tommy's Falcon Sword intercepts and redirects the arrow back at him, destroying the villain and restoring balance between dimensions.
In the final episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2, Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa execute a plan against the team, a perfect clone of Billy Cranston, created from the statue sculpted by Violet at school. Brought to life by Rita's magic, this fake Billy is tasked with infiltrating the Rangers, stealing their power morphers, and leaving the team defenseless. The plan begins when the putties attack and Goldar captures the real Billy, taking him to the dark dimension and trapping him in a beam of energy meant to put him into an eternal sleep. Meanwhile, the clone returns to the group, pretending everything is normal, but his behavior quickly raises suspicion, making rude remarks about Violet, talking about wanting to work out, and insisting on collecting the communicators and morphers under the excuse of technical adjustments. When Kimberly tries to retrieve her communicator and the clone refuses, the disguise falls apart. Goldar appears with the putties, and the clone escapes with a backpack full of morphers. However, the real Billy manages to break free using his hologram disc to reflect the beam holding him. He returns to the park and confronts his duplicate in a direct struggle for the morphers, which ends with both morphing at the same time. The confusion ends when Kimberly uses the hologram disc to test the imposter's knowledge, and he fails instantly. With the deception exposed, the Rangers morph and destroy the clone using the combined power of their blade blasters and Saba's eye lasers. Unable to withstand the energy, the fake Billy dissolves into red light, disappearing forever. The evil clone of Tori Hansen was created by Mara and Capri as part of yet another plan to infiltrate Ninja Ops in Episode 3 of Power Rangers Ninja Storm. Using a special camera, the villains captured the real Tori during a photo shoot and generated a distorted copy of her. This evil version had all the powers of the Blue Ranger, but none of her qualities. She was arrogant, impatient, bossy, and treated Shane and Dustin with contempt, demanding that they take her to the ninja base immediately. Her sole mission was to replace Tori and pave the way for Lothar's attack. Meanwhile, the real Tori managed to escape using her water manipulation abilities and set out to track down the imposter before she caused any more damage. The two eventually clash on the way to Ninja Ops, with the clone attempting to carry out her mission while Lothar sends a new monster to reinforce the attack. The fight between the two Tories is intense, with the duplicate displaying a twisted version of the original's fighting style. Tori defeats her copy with a powerful water attack, ending the threat. Soon after, she reunites with Shane and Dustin, who initially doubt her identity until she reveals details only the real Tori would know. With the group back together, the Rangers face the monster Copybot, defeating it on the ground and then switching to the Storm Megazord's Lightning Mode, a high-speed form limited to 60 seconds, but strong enough to wipe out all of the enemy's clones and finish off the giant creature. In episode 38 of the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita Repulsa tried to destroy the Rangers' reputation using something simple: impostors. To do this, Finster created Twin Man, a monster capable of perfect disguise, and turned 4 putties into human versions of the Rangers. The plan was clear: make Angel Grove believe that the heroes had become dangerous. The fake power teens show up at school pretending to be the Rangers. They sabotage the drinking fountain with detergent, intimidate students, and even mock Mr. Kaplan, who ends up giving detention to the real Rangers without realizing it's a setup. Meanwhile, Twin Man and the putties morphed into the Power Rangers and began attacking downtown, spreading chaos and fear. Stuck in detention, the Rangers learn about the attacks and, using a quick trick to distract Bulk and Skull, escape and finally confront their imposters. Each Ranger faces their own copy, and the fakes quickly reveal their true putty forms. Jason takes on Twin Man directly, who uses a staff and creates illusions in a distorted environment to try to overwhelm him. Even so, Jason manages to break the monster's disguise with a precise strike. With no options left, Twin Man attempts a final attack, but is destroyed when the Rangers combine their weapons and fire the Power Blaster. With the imposters eliminated, the city's trust in the Rangers is restored. Back at school, the heroes return just in time to avoid suspicion, while Bulk and Skull are left completely confused about what just happened. The Mutant Rangers were the second team of evil Rangers created by Rita Repulsa, but unlike the earlier imposters, who were used only to damage the Rangers' reputation, these were designed with a clear purpose: to overpower and destroy the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In episode 59 of the first season, Rita selected 6 putties and put them through intense training under Goldar's command. Only 5 proved worthy of receiving the Badges of Darkness. The 6th, meant to become the Mutant Red Ranger,
failed and was disintegrated, leading to Goldar's conclusion that no putty was worthy of being their leader. To fix this, Finster created Commander Crayfish, who stepped in as the team's Red Ranger and leader. The Mutant Rangers soon sprang into action, with the pink and green mutants ambushing Tommy and Kimberly in the park. The clones displayed enough strength and technique to overwhelm their counterparts, making it clear this new threat was far more dangerous. Later, both teams faced off on the beach, each Ranger battling their mutant double. The Mutant Rangers unveiled corrupted versions of the power weapons, and together formed the Mutant Power Blaster, forcing the heroes to retreat. With their weapons upgraded by Zordon and Alpha, the Power Rangers returned to the fight, managing to destroy the female Mutant Rangers and overpower the remaining males. However, Rita enlarged Commander Crayfish and the surviving mutants, triggering a Zord battle. Despite their aggressive tactics, the villains couldn't withstand the Power Rangers' ultimate formation. When the Rangers summoned the Ultra Zord, they finally wiped out the Mutant Rangers and ended their threat once and for all.